Hey guys, it is Patrick. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a super exciting video for you guys. I'm making another Starbucks copycat recipe. I love these videos, you guys love these videos, so I'm doing another one. Today, I actually have a food recipe that I'm recreating. It is my favorite Starbucks dessert recipe from their little bakery section. It is their lemon loaf, their lemon cake. It is the best thing ever. So fluffy, so moist, so tangy. The flavor is amazing. It is so good, and I want to make it from home. That way, I don't have to go to Starbucks every time I want this cake. If I can make this from home, I will be happy. I will be really happy. So, I found a recipe from a website called Lil Luna. Okay. Okay. So I will leave the link for this recipe down below if you guys want to try it as well. And let's get into it. So the first thing it says to do is preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Done. Okay, so now that the oven is preheated, it says line the bottom of a loaf pan with a piece of parchment paper. Did that. Spray the pan and the parchment paper with non-stick baking spray. Now, if you guys watch my pumpkin bread video, you know me and this spray is very complicated. We don't always get along. So first, it says spray the pan and then the paper. Why? So then I'm gonna put the paper back in the pan. So the pan is papered and sprayed. We're good. So now that this is all done, I'm gonna go ahead and set it aside and we can get to step 2. So in step 2, we're gonna combine all of our dry ingredients in this bowl right here. So the dry ingredients are gonna be flour, pudding mix, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. Now you are gonna need to use the mixing bowl for the wet ingredients. So with these dry ingredients, just use like a normal mixing bowl. Okay, so we're gonna put 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour into the mixing bowl. 1.5. Boom. Next, we are going to add a 3.4 ounce box of lemon pudding mix. This recipe is special. This one stood out to me. There are a lot of copycat recipes for this lemon cake out there, but I chose this one because I like it. Because it incorporates a lot of different lemon flavors into it. You will see later what I'm talking about, but it's next level. It is complex. Not like complex like hard, but like good complex. So 3.4 ounces of lemon pudding mix. We aren't making pudding, we're making lemon cake. So just dump this in here. This is gonna make it so soft, so lemony, so fluffy. That's why we love it. That's why we're using her today. Next, we're gonna add half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. Be sure to like really be good with your measurements when it comes to baking powder and baking soda, because if you aren't, your stuff is not gonna come out good. I know with like baking, pretty much measuring everything perfectly is very important, but with like leavening, it is so important. My first ever baking fail in my life was adding 2 cups of baking soda to banana bread. I think the recipe called for 2 teaspoons and I put in 2 cups. I did not know what I was doing. That was literally, I think, like one of the first times I ever baked, and it was not good. It literally turned black. It tasted like it was not edible. It probably could have killed me. It looked nothing like the picture on the recipe. I was so confused, and then found out later it was supposed to be a teaspoon and not a cup. Okay, so I have all of my dry ingredients in this little bowl right here, so I'm just gonna use a whisk to mix everything up. So you want to make sure the pudding mix and the baking powder, baking soda, salt are all mixed throughout the flour so that it's very even. And taking the extra time to like do this step makes sure that one chunk of the bread has like a lot of baking soda and then one chunk has none. By doing this mixing step, you are preventing that from happening. And already from the lemon pudding mix, this smells so good. Okay, so now that this is all whisked together, we can set this aside. Okay, and for the next part of the recipe, I'm going to pull out my stand mixer. If you have one of these, use it. If you don't, then just use like a hand mixer. So first, I'm gonna crack 3 eggs into the mixing bowl. And before I add it into this bowl, I'm gonna crack them into here, just in case any shells possibly escape into the little bowl. I can just fish them out of here a lot easier than I can if it was in here. And I do also want to mention these eggs have been sitting at room temperature for like an hour or so. You want to make sure your butter, your eggs, and your milk and stuff like that is at room temperature before you start baking. So doing that just makes sure that the bake is really even and our oven's preheated. So doing that just makes sure that no like cold ingredients are going into the oven, which can cause like uneven baking and just not the best baked goods. So make sure everything is at room temp. Okay, so my 3 large eggs are just gonna go into the mixing bowl. And now I'm gonna add 1 cup of granulated sugar to this. Okay, 1 cup of sugar going in. Now I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of softened butter. Now a lot of the copycat recipes that I've seen before use like all butter and no oil. This recipe is kind of the best of both worlds. So I'm just using 2 tablespoons of butter and I'm also gonna be adding oil later on. So you're getting the flavor of the butter and the moisture of the oil. We love a combo. Add that in. Boom. And now it's time to add our extracts. So I'm adding vanilla extract, and remember how I was mentioning earlier, this recipe has a lot of layers of lemon to it. I'm also adding lemon extract. So we're using 2 teaspoons of lemon extract. And then to make sure that this cake has a little bit of vanilla flavor as well, we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Love it. So now I'm gonna add half a cup of canola oil. You could also use vegetable oil. Just make sure that the oil that you're using doesn't have a really strong flavor to it. So don't use like olive oil, don't use coconut oil. Use an oil that does not have a lot of flavor to it. And this is gonna make sure that this lemon cake is going to be moist for days. So I'm gonna add half a cup of oil, and along with those 2 tablespoons of butter, it's gonna make the perfect combo. So then here's another little secret ingredient. I'm adding 3/4 of a cup of Greek yogurt to this recipe. Now a lot of cake recipes call for either like yogurt or sour cream. This Greek yogurt is gonna give it a little tang, a little zip, a little zing. It's gonna add the flavor, and it's also going to keep this so moist. Okay, so I'm literally just gonna add like the entire container of Greek yogurt to this. And then since this is a lemon cake after all, our last ingredient is going to be lemon. We are gonna use 1 fresh lemon. We are going to use all of the zest of this, and we're gonna use all of the juice. So just take your little microplane grater. I don't know why, I find it so much easier if you grate upside down. So like hold the fruit like this and then hold the grater like this. You can see where you're grating. You can see how much zest you have, and it's just so much easier. Okay, so I got all the zest off of here. Now I have all the zest on the grater, so I'm just gonna tap that into the mixing bowl. Okay, so I have all the lemon juice in this little thing, and now I can just pour it into the mixer. So now I have all the wet ingredients in here. I can just lift it up. I am using the whisk attachment on my mixer, and now I'm just gonna whisk it until it's all combined. Okay, so that's all combined. Don't worry if there's like little chunks of butter floating around. That is completely normal. Okay, so all of the wet ingredients are combined. Now I'm just gonna add all of the dry ingredients gradually and mix it just until it's combined. Okay, so just before it's like just done, when it has a little bit more mixing to do, go ahead, take it off the stand mixer. This is what it looks like, guys. It is like so beautifully yellow. I think that lemon pudding mix really added a lot of color to this. So I'm just gonna take a rubber spatula and scrape down the sides. Okay, so the batter is all combined, and now we can pour it into our pan. So I'm just gonna use the rubber spatula to scrape this into the pan. This smells so freaking good. I love the smell of lemon, and it's gonna smell even better when it's in the oven. Okay, so I have all the batter into the pan, and now I'm just gonna take the rubber spatula and smooth this out so it really bakes nice and evenly. And now I'm gonna put this into our 350-degree oven for 55 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. Bye. Okay, so it is the entire next day. I baked this in like the late afternoon, so I just wanted to let it cool overnight. It came out looking so good. It looks so like fluffy. It rose so much. It looks so good. So it's been cooling overnight. It is completely cool now. And because of that parchment hack, we can just take it out of the pan like that. So now it's time to make the frosting or the icing that is gonna go on top of this lemon loaf. The first thing I'm gonna add is 3 tablespoons of softened, unsalted butter. So just pop that in. Make sure your butter is not melted and it's not right out of the fridge. Just pop it in the microwave for a little bit so it's nice and soft. Okay, and because this is lemon icing as well, I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of our lemon extract right in with the butter. And then I'm also going to juice an entire lemon and put it in the mixer. Okay, so I got all the seeds out of this lemon juice. Now I can just add all of this to the mixer. So now I'm just gonna lift this up and mix it until the butter, the lemon juice, and the lemon extract are all combined. Okay, so the butter is all mixed in now, and now the last thing we have to do is add 1.5 cups of powdered sugar to this mixture. Okay, so all the powdered sugar is in, and now I can just lift it and mix it until the frosting is combined. Okay, so this icing looks so good. It smells amazing. That lemon, though, is coming. So now I'm just gonna take the rubber spatula with pretty much all the icing and spread it on our lemon loaf. Ooh, this is gonna be so good. And now I can just take a little offset spatula and spread this out so it's nice and even. You wanna make sure everything is covered, and this frosting is gonna make sure that this cake stays fresh for days on end. It's gonna be so good. Okay, and this is what our lemon loaf looks like. I just spread the frosting all over it. It looks so good, and we're gonna let this set for an hour or 2 just so that the icing can harden, and then we'll cut into it. Okay, so this has been setting for like an hour or so, and you know that this is like completely set if you just like touch the edge of the frosting and like nothing ends up on your finger, like it's hard, it's set. I'm so excited. I am eating this for lunch right now. I'm so excited to cut into this. And I'm gonna slice into it. I'm so excited. I wonder what the inside's gonna look like. Oh my gosh. Tea. Okay, so this is what the inside of the cake looks like. That looks just like the one from Starbucks. It looks like so fluffy and moist. It is like so soft. Let's give this a taste. Okay, that's like to a T, the same exact flavor that Starbucks has. That is scary. The lemon flavor is like literally spot on. The cake is so moist and fluffy, and it has like just the right amount of frosting on top. I'm definitely going to make this recipe again. You guys have to try this out. If you love the Starbucks lemon loaf, you're gonna die for this. You are going to die for this. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below what you want me to make next. Subscribe to my channel. You can view my entire Starbucks playlist right here. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.